If anything has changed in terms of the outlook on these wars and these crises, I think it's more in terms of the costs for the story back home or the consequences back home, which are always a concern, but sometimes it's a concern that is secondary. If, say, the administration or the president or the prime minister, depending on the country, is so keen on going and making this happen and has a good kind of narrative about it. Today, with what's happening around the world, with the urgency of the crises in every country, the global pandemic, the economic crisis, the concerns with social affairs, the increase in inequalities, it becomes very difficult to sell on top of that to a population which is really kind of experiencing a conflict and military adventurism fatigue, a new type of imperial, because that's essentially what they are, imperial kind of foray in that sense. And so thinking twice about it or trying to sort of end it, thus the US president's currently, seems to be, I think, the dominant mode. But it's not so easy. It is not so easy in terms of the magnitude of the investment, in terms of the expectations on the other side. So you go into Afghanistan and you want to do nation building without actually saying it, but you create expectations. And so you want to leave the airport and people follow you. And then you have a humanitarian crisis. And then you ask for help for countries to support. It creates a tapestry of connections that, it's often said, it's easy to start a war or a conflict. Very difficult to end that. You lose control of this so easily. And so I think today, in the next phase, it may be more difficult to certainly start that. What I see fundamentally as a sort of the long-term consequence, rather, is more pernicious, I think, is that the very vector of the nature of these conflicts has been posited as something normal, including within these societies. And so it's very interesting to see almost kind of a despotic demand on some of these countries to ask the US to stay, to ask these powers to help and assist. For sure, the Taliban will create havoc, and so some sort of engagement is necessary. But kind of the continuous replication of this game is not viable, neither for the United States or for any imperial country going, nor for the country itself that needs some sort of fixing. And the way I see it, really, it starts in the country itself. It starts with the local efforts. It starts with domestic state building. It's very difficult to engineer when sort of the conflict is so vast and so deep. But there's an inevitability to that local agency, which I think is very important when it comes to matters of this nature.